Remember me, for I will soon be gone. Remember me, and let the love we have live on.
Know that I'm with you the only way that I can be, until you're in my arms again.
Remember me, though I have to say goodbye. Remember me, don't let it make you cry.
For even if I'm far away, I'll hold you in my heart. I sing a secret song to you each night we are apart.
Remember me, I have to travel far. Remember me, each time I hear a sad guitar.
Know that I'm with you the only way that I can be, until you're in my arms again.
Remember me, for I will soon be gone. Remember me, and let the love we have live on.
Know that I'm with you the only way that I can be, so until you're in my arms again. Remember me.
Hi everybody, thank you so much for being part of Celebration of Life for Pearl Sullivan. Before we proceed, however, it's important to pay our respects to the elders, past and present, of the neutral Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee peoples. Like many other institutions, the University of Waterloo sits on the Haldeman Tract, the land promised to the Six Nations people on 6 miles on each side of the Grand River. And again, before we proceed, let me express my thanks to the Waterboys Choir for their beautiful singing, something that Pearl enjoyed very much, and I could almost see the smile on her face as they were singing. It was an incredibly sad news when we heard about Pearl's untimely passing. It hit us really hard. But today I want to celebrate the things that they were remarkably impressive, and it's great to remember those things today as we are celebrating her life. She was very well known for somebody who would listen quite well, listen to anybody, students, colleagues, friends, faculty, staff, when they wanted something to share with her. And she admired our Canada geese on our campus. She will call them duckies. And when somebody needed a hug, somebody needed a little extra care, she will hand one over to them. As I'm holding this, I cannot help remembering what a caring person she was. But at the same time, unbelievably resilient, critical thinker, strategic thinker, brilliant person. I remember my first day here at the University of Waterloo. Very first day, I came in the morning to my brand new office here in Needles Hall. And there was a nice plant, and a fabulous, beautiful note waiting for me from Pearl Sullivan, who was then the chair of my home department. That's how our first meeting was, through a very beautifully thought out gesture for sending me that plant. And then I realized that actually we share the same university. We went to the same university in Nova Scotia. And our relationship grew from there. It took different turns, different shapes, but always grew. I cannot possibly list the number of fabulous contributions Pearl has made to this institution, and how much I personally enjoyed my interaction with her. Somebody always positive, somebody always with endless energy, somebody with new ideas, somebody showed at every step of the way how caring she was, not just about herself or anybody around her, close to her. Somebody could be quite far away from her, she will be still very caring. Tens of thousands of students, hundreds of my colleagues, including myself, we benefited from her contributions to the university. I'm so proud that I gotten to know her. I cannot tell you how fun it was to work with her, but also how brilliantly exciting it was to work with her. I remember her enormous appetite for good food, and at either here at university functions or when we traveled internationally at my house when we were entertaining some donors or doing some strategic work. Once I tried to keep up with her, I couldn't. These are the parts of Pearl that I will continue remembering. I'm missing her very much, and I will continue missing her, but I will also remember fun things, brilliant things that she did, and those are the things that are carved in my memory. I will ask our Dean of Engineering, Mary Walsh, to take over from here on, and again, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Ferden, for your remarks about Pearl. As I start this tribute, I'd like to provide my deepest sympathies to Pearl's husband, Tom, her daughters, Veronica and Christina, her son, Michael, and his fiancée, Emma. At the end of last November, we lost a beloved former dean, department chair, and faculty member. From a very personal perspective, Pearl Sullivan was my colleague, my mentor, but most of all, my friend. For all of us at New Pearl, we knew that she was a force of nature, always fearlessly working to advance Waterloo engineering, an opportunity for our undergraduate and graduate students, our alumni, and our faculty and staff. Pearl was a champion of the faculty's work in disruptive technologies, such as artificial intelligence, advanced manufacturing, nanotechnology, robotics, and wireless communications. While Dean, she expanded the potential for industry collaboration and government support in key areas of research. While she was Dean in 2015, she launched the faculty's Educating the Engineer of the Future campaign and worked tirelessly to achieve its ambitious goals of building Engineering 7. She also wanted to provide students with enhanced experiences to help them achieve their aspirations as future engineers. I believe one of her proudest moments was when Engineering 7, or E7, opened. She liked to say that the building of Engineering 7 literally started without $1 on hand at the beginning of the project. It was her force and her passion that made this dream a reality for all of us to enjoy. In addition to lecture halls, study areas, and special spaces for project work by students, in some of our growing undergraduate programs, Engineering 7 also included the wonderful 2-floor Engineering Ideas Clinic for hands-on design challenges and activities to help teach theoretical concepts. I've seen myself how much the students enjoy this space. She was also responsible for the Vehicle Research and Intelligence Lab, better known as AVRIL. Opened by Pearl last February, actually on Valentine's Day, the research facility for autonomous vehicles focuses on areas such as perception by self-driving vehicles in all weather conditions, including our snowy Canadian winters, coordination with other vehicles, and safety assurance. While Pearl headed our faculty, the Waterloo Artificial Intelligence Institute opened its doors as a wonderful collaboration with our Faculty of Mathematics. We also started an AI option for all of our engineering students and launched some new undergraduate programs in biomedical as well as architectural engineering. From a very personal perspective, Pearl's impact on me was profound. She was the one who recruited me to Waterloo in 2007 when she was the chair of the Mechanical and Mechatronics Engineering Department. They were looking for a professor in materials and manufacturing engineering, and they decided that I was the one who fit the bill. As I thought about starting Waterloo, she helped me set up my research lab to make sure that was all ready to go, but she also took an interest in me very personally. She helped me find a real estate agent, and she also helped introduce me to a doctor in Waterloo because I had 3 small children. And this was at a time when there was a major shortage of doctors in Waterloo. Not everyone pays attention to their new faculty in that way. She stood apart, and I was already very impressed with who she was. As a new faculty member at Waterloo, I was so inspired by Pearl. She worked hard, was passionate, and I could tell she cared so much about our students and Waterloo Engineering, and was so proud to be a faculty member there. She pushed me to be a better researcher and professor and take the time to get to know our students personally. She always led with her whole heart. When she became the first female dean of engineering, I was so proud of her and excited to work with her as one of her associate deans. We had fun together, traveling to California and Toronto to make presentations on what we were doing to improve diversity in engineering at Waterloo. On all of our car rides, Pearl would work endlessly, answering emails on her phone as I became her chauffeur. Regardless of all the work she had to do on these trips, she always made time to talk to me about how things were going and how my family was doing. Pearl always prided herself on being a strong voice for women and ensuring full diversity and inclusion in engineering. She made it a priority to reach out to girls in elementary school to ignite a sense of excitement in the possibilities of engineering and what a career in engineering could hold for them. As you have heard, while Pearl thrived on developing and launching major strategic initiatives, she said what she enjoyed the most were spontaneous meetings with the students, especially in their design and classroom activities, along the hallways and in the elevators. And I really think this speaks to her character in terms of what she was so passionate about. People who knew Pearl seldom mentioned her accolades, despite the many she had, both in her own engineering research and teaching, her leadership as an engineering leader. Rather, they focus on her character. They remark on her humility, compassion, kindness, and drive, her instinct to listen before speaking, her respect for everyone, which in turn earned her universal respect. Pearl was one of the most beautiful human beings you would ever meet. Pearl is irreplaceable and will be missed. The memory of her personal strength will always be a beacon of courage and inspiration for me and all of us in the faculty, as well as anyone who had the privilege of honor of knowing her. I want to thank Tom, Michael, Veronica, and Christina for sharing your remarkable wife and mother with us. At her funeral, I loved it when someone called her an iron butterfly, as it is fitting in terms of her strength and perseverance juxtaposed with her inner beauty and whimsy. I would like to now welcome Jim Rush, our Vice President Academic and Provost, to share his memories of Pearl.
Thank you, Mary, and welcome everyone. Many of you will have known Pearl and know of her many significant accomplishments much better than I, so I won't repeat them all here. Rather, I would like to share some personal reflections gathered over the past 12 years that I have known Pearl in various ways. My relationship with Pearl started at a time when we were both department chairs, and then continued while we were both deans, and more recently while I was provost during the last years of her deanship. I will always treasure the opportunities I had to work with her in these various ways. I was honored to be invited by Pearl's family to her funeral. It was a real celebration of the profound richness of her life, centered in family, faith, and work. One of the hymns at her funeral, which Pearl selected, is titled "Be Not Afraid." And as I had the opportunity to reflect on my own relationship with Pearl, I can easily understand why this was one of her favorites. Indeed, it explains a lot about Pearl to me. At our first meeting ever, which was a lunch for chairs to welcome new faculty members, I was taken aback at how much Pearl knew about certain aspects of my department. It surprised me as we had never met or spoken before. It turned out through the conversation that her knowledge was informed by her awareness of a very productive research connection between faculty members in our two departments. As an isolated incident, it surprised me she had so much specific knowledge, but as I came to know Pearl more and better over the years, I learned that it was not unusual at all for her to be very well aware of activities and opportunities well beyond her own domain, if they were of importance to her department, faculty, or the university. If this was the case, she was not afraid to go out on a limb to push, to understand, and capture those opportunities. Indeed, it is very well known that Pearl could be the strongest advocate and champion for something she believed in. She could be provocative and antagonistic, but I also found her to be charming, solution-oriented, and respectful. Our best interactions in my own memories were when her sense of humor could also contribute to the discussion. I always loved to see her smile or to inject a joke or a funny phrase into an otherwise serious discussion. She could be alarming and disarming in equal measure, and often she was very persuasive and inspirational to me as a result. Some would say she was a force of nature, which I think is true, but it's also important, I think, to understand that she was not an uncontrollable force of nature. Indeed, I believe that she controlled herself remarkably. She knew that not every idea, even if they were her own, was necessarily a great idea. And even with plenty of great ideas, she knew that choices had to be made. She possessed the remarkable ability to force herself to concentrate on the truly excellent ideas with opportunities for innovation and impact. And when one of those comes along, to pursue it relentlessly and to its full extent without fear. In my own experience working with her, I believe this made her very effective as a visionary leader and as a human being. Some can be visionaries, but not good leaders. Others can be good leaders, but not necessarily visionaries. Pearl was both, and she proved this again and again through her own passion for students and learning in many ways, including driving the educating the engineer of the future concept, through promoting and facilitating disruptive technology ideas in key areas, through her advocacy for the synergies and impacts associated with industry partnerships and with entrepreneurship, and through her passion for diversity and inclusion. She was not afraid, but while she was fearless, I never found her to be reckless. She had principled conviction. She was not ruthless, but was compassionate and effective. And she knew the value and strength and potential of the faculty and of its people. On this basis, and with her inherent talents, her family, and her faith in support, Pearl was able to push many boundaries for the Faculty of Engineering in the University of Waterloo on a scale and a scope that is absolutely remarkable and which shall never be forgotten. I certainly will not forget these, nor the person behind them. Pearl and I had many opportunities over the past few years to share satisfaction and accomplishment together, as well as frustrations with each other and with others. We also laughed together often about work and family matters, and cried together on occasion as well. Although we had several occasions over this past year to interact, our last in-person business meeting was about a year ago, late December 2019. At that time, Pearl was buoyed by the yoke having been lifted a little bit as her term as dean was finishing. And I had hoped, and we discussed, that she would have some time and opportunity to celebrate her many accomplishments and perhaps adopt a bit of a new pace. Alas, although this was well-earned time, that time was to be all too short. But I come back to the richness of her life, her focus on family, faith, and work, her ability to direct her energy to those things that matter most, her ability to truly be not afraid. It will be this that I remember most when I think of Pearl. I give thanks for having known Pearl, and for this opportunity to share a few thoughts and memories with all of you. I invite you to join me now in a moment of silence in memory of Pearl, followed by a brief reflection.
Hi, my name is Abdullah Barakat. I'm a Waterloo Engineering alumnus, class of 2018, and I'm here today to share a few stories with you. Before I started university, I had heard this saying that was something around the lines of, look right, look left, one of you won't be here next year. I remember on my very first day at Waterloo, Pearl Sullivan walked into a room full of first-year students, and she said, look right, look left, these are the two people that are going to help you get through first-year engineering. And I think that spoke volumes to her character. For a lot of people, often the dean is very far removed and very disconnected from the students. But Pearl was pretty much the exact opposite. She never forgot a name. I remember I was in first year, I met her once at an event. I was walking down the hall and she actually remembered me, and that was amazing. I guess that, again, that just speaks to the kind of person that she was. And as a student, I was fortunate to have been elected the Engineering Society president, and I got to work with Pearl a lot. I was in her office on a regular basis, and she wanted me to basically give her the real unfiltered student opinions. She wanted to make a difference. She wanted to put the students first, and she wanted to do all that she can to try and make things better. Engineering is a very stressful program, and she wanted to do her best as dean to give back to the students and give them the best possible undergrad experience that she could. And she was always willing to listen. That was one big thing. And it's not just for students. I remember I got to sit on a committee to appoint a new dean but then Pearl had decided that she wanted to go for a second term. And so part of that was I got to go talk to staff, faculty, student groups all across the faculty, and not every single person had nothing but positive things to say. Pearl had such a big impact on everybody in such a positive way that stretched so far. I remember I once went to a Christmas party at Fed Hall with Pearl, and she saw that I was there. I was one of the few students there, and she actually pulled me aside and asked me to put on a silly hat and join her for some pictures with some other profs. And again, that just showed her very fun-loving side, which was awesome. And just, I guess, right as I was leaving university at my convocation, Pearl actually, when I was on stage to get my degree, she actually stopped the whole thing and just gave me a hug in the middle of the ceremony. And again, it just shows how valuable she takes those connections. And it meant so much to me. And I know she probably had a lot of students that she knew really closely, and her impact is very widespread. To tie it all together, honestly, from students, staff, faculty, to pretty much everybody that interacted with her, everyone loved Pearl. Everyone has a story about them with Pearl. And again, it's amazing to see the impact that she's had on so many people. So yeah, thank you very much for attending. I know this would have meant the world to her to see how many people really cared about her and how big of an impact she had on our community. And I know that Pearl's favorite event was the grad toast that gets held every winter term. So here's to you, Pearl, for your unwavering commitment and compassion to all of your students, staff, and faculty, to the barriers that you've broken for women in STEM and creating opportunities for people everywhere, for your fun-loving spirit that brightens up the room every time you walk into it, for the strength that you showed all along the way, for being you. Thank you, Pearl.